Hey, what's up, everybody? Chris Bruton, Brew Crew Fishing. Hey, they're gonna Bills let me down, man. First half of the game, just pitiful, and then try to bring it all back together at the end. Going to overtime, just getting beat up by the referees and just bad execution. But anyway, though, today we're gonna talk about something that is near and dear to probably everybody's heart on their bass boat, and that's powering all this stuff. All right, we got two 12s up front. We got a 16. We got the active target up there with the live scanner. Back of the boat, we got power poles. You got live well pumps. Some people have stereos. They have whatever going on in their boat. They got all kinds of electronics. You got sonar hubs, everything. So I'm gonna talk about my battery situation in the back of my V20 and show you how I set it up. So first off, one thing I wanted to kind of talk about is the battery capacity that you have in your boat. All right, so there's a video I did earlier, and it talked about being able to send power to the front of your boat from your batteries for your graphs. And the moral of that story is the larger the diameter of your wire, the better efficient the power will be going from the back of your boat to the front of your boat. So if you're having, if your boat came with smaller graphs and now you've upgraded and you have these 12-inch units, 12, 15, 16s, whatever they are, you probably need to upgrade the size of your wire. The wire diameter is crucial in providing the appropriate amount of power to your graph wherever it's located on your boat. So I recommend, that you upgrade your wire. You can get the marine duplex. Don't go and get regular duplex wire for your, like I got up here in my ceiling. So that yellow wire, not that duplex wire, the marine duplex. All right, and then get eight gauge if possible. 10 gauge is okay. It's pretty good. It'll work fine. That's what I have in mind. I have 10 gauge, but 8 gauge is probably the best. And at some point, I may change my wire out for an 8 gauge. But around, you can see this white wire right here. This is the 10 gauge duplex that goes from my batteries, and it goes right down my gunnel. Comes out of the console, powers my two 12s, and then it keeps going down my gunnel, right down the gunnel, all the way up to the front, and then it powers everything up front. That allows your full power of your battery to take itself all the way forward. If you don't do that, and you sometimes the boat manufacturers, they're getting a lot better. I know Basscat. I think Basscat even has a 6 in their new Puma STS. So they've obviously figured that out, and that's awesome. So now you should have any problems with those boats. But you can do that yourself too. Upgrade the boat wire in your boat, and you'll have no problem with it. Your graphs won't be flashing, none of that stuff. Your pictures will be clear on your sonars as well. You'll have better output, better images, and things will be brighter. And it'll just make everything that you wanted it to be how it should be. But just go on Amazon, look for marine tinned duplex wire, 8 or 10 gauge, and just rewire it. It's not that difficult. All right, so let me show you how I got my boat hooked up. So since I do have two 12s, 16, live sonar, or the live scanner, active target, power poles, pumps, what you got to think about is the amount of amps per unit. And then if you're fishing a tournament, you want to have that power for an 8-hour day, preferably a 9 to 10-hour day, because, you launch your boat in the morning, power's on, sitting around, you don't want your boat just to make it to 3 o'clock. You want it to be able to be powered long past that. So think of the amount of amp hours that your 12-volt battery has to power all of the things that you have in there. So if you add up all the, how many amp hours each one of these units uses, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but say this is, 3 amp hours, 3 amp hours. That's 6. The 12, say it's 5. The live scanner, say it's 2. Active target in there, say it's 3. And then your live wells running, say they're 2 apiece. You know, all that stuff, you know, adds up. And if you add all those together, right? If you figure out all the electronics you have on your boat, add the amp hours that they use together, right? Add all that up, and then multiply that times 8. Then you can find out if your battery has enough amp hour to supply all that stuff. So the way my boat was set up, all right, let me show you real quick. So I bought 3 lithiums for my trolling motor battery, and I still have my X2 power. I love this battery, it's awesome. So my X2 power, right? What I did is, so I got 36 volt Ghost. So there's my 3 100 hour amp batteries. They're not 40s, they're not 50s, they're 100 amp hours each. All right, that's crucial. Then you have our cranking battery. So I didn't put a lithium on my cranking battery. I still kept the AGM, right? Because this Pro XS is dirty. This Pro XS is dirty, but no, the Pro XS needs to have an AGM cranking battery that has, if you can see on here, it's upside down, but it says 1150 co-cranking amps. All right, that's what you got to have to crank that bad boy up. So what I did, I added another battery. Let me get this out the way. I added another battery in the compartment behind my boat. I put another lithium battery and I added it in this battery box. All right, so if I can open it, you can see it. So I added another lithium, another 100 amp, 12 volt lithium battery in here. So what I did is, the way my electronics run, I disconnected all electronics from my cranking battery. So now throughout the day, the only thing my cranking battery does is crank my engine. That's it. It doesn't run any live wells. It doesn't run any power poles. It doesn't run any electronics. It doesn't do anything but crank the engine. And the engine charges it. That's it. What I did is I took this battery in here, drilled a hole through my plate right by my buses, and put those 12 volts onto my buses. So I got positive, negative, right? Now from here, my boat is powered off of my buses. So when I turn on this switch here, this is my master switch to turn on all my electronics on my boat, right? Again, with the boat off and everything, my trim and stuff will still work. That's just because it's running off of the AGM. All right, again, that's all engine. Blue is all Merc engine. The other thing I did is, since I'm only running my Mercury off of this battery, technically there's no reason for me to have my jump switch. So on your V20s, we have a jump switch over here. What would normally happen is, if your cranking battery died, right? Original setup. If your cranking battery died, you could flip this switch over here and it would take power from one of these batteries and transfer it over to your cranking battery. Then that would help you to crank up your engine, and you could, get on home and whatnot, get back to weigh in. Since I changed mine in my boat where my cranking battery no longer powers anything but startup, I don't have to worry about it dying down throughout the day because it's not being used for anything. So again, I got a 36 volt, 100 hour amp on the Ghost trolling motor. The other crucial thing about this is the Ghost trolling motor. The Ghost trolling motor doesn't use that much power. 36 volt, it's got 120 pounds of thrust. The other crucial thing about the Ghost trolling motor is I have the ability, I don't know if you can see that in there, this button, I have the ability to change this. Can't see it here, but I can change from a touch of a button, I can change my trolling motor to go from 36 volt to 24 volt on the fly. Okay, so think about that. One, the Ghost trolling motor doesn't use a whole lot of power. It's not like a lot of the other trolling motors that will burn down your batteries. Two, I got 300 amp hour trolling motor batteries, so they're going to last longer to begin with. And so the third portion of this is I can switch that to 24 if I need to. So if I ever did wear it down, I can switch to 24 and still be fine. All right. So with all that said, what I can do now is, since I have so many other electronics that are running on the boat, I can now switch this on. All right. I can turn this on, and when I turn that switch on, what it does is doesn't go over to my cranking battery anymore. All right. When I turn that jumper on by my trolling motor, it goes to my bus bar. So now what's that doing? Instead of 100 amp hours battery for my electronics and everything, I now have 200 amp hours for my electronics. Okay? So 200 amp hours to run live wells, power poles, graphs, active target, 16s, live scanner. No problems, no issues. So that's how I set mine up, and it works great. So the cool thing was, here's the batteries that I still got them on around. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give these away to someone. They're still good. But those are 75 pounders, AGM batteries. So that's what, 150, 225 pounds of battery. And I put in, those are each 24. So they're 75 pounds. So 3 of those is that one green one, we'll say. And then I added 24 pounds and still took out 150. So I still took out a ton of weight and added way more capacity. All right. So this is a good way to think about if you want to redo your batteries. A good way to think about, how to go about doing them. So the only thing I had to do, let's talk about charging. The other thing I had to do is my precision charger still works fine. All right. Right now, everything's charging, good to go. All right. Set them on AGM for it to charge the lithiums. And it charges those lithiums fine. As you can see, all lights are green and solid. And what I did is all 4 of them charged these 4 batteries in the back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Even the AGM. You put on AGM, said it's AGM battery. So 1, 2, 3, 4. These are all my batteries for the 460 PC. All right. Great charger. The other thing I did is, in order for me to charge this battery, I just bought a little Noco Genius 15,000, G15,000. And it's got different settings on there. And right now I have mine set on AGM Plus. I could put it on Lithium as well. But I found that the AGM Plus setting on here does the best as far as charging it and having it, no issues, no problems. So it charges at a little higher rate and then does great. So it's real simple. This guy, let me show you. It's got let me spin around so we can see what we're talking about. So obviously it's got a plug. So I got my plug here. Oops, sorry. So it's got a plug, it plugs in. And I just have this plug that hangs from my ceiling. All right. And then I set this in my seat. And then this here, it's got a quick disconnect. So I leave this attached to my batteries. When I go fishing, I just unplug this quick disconnect here. This separates. And then it's got a little waterproof tab that slides over it when you go fishing. And then I put my, life jacket and all my other good stuff in there. So it works great. I have not had an issue with setup at all. The first time I went lithium, I tried to just use just the lithium battery, just the one, like this, without using the jumper. And I quickly found out at about 1:30 In the afternoon, my batteries died. It just cut off. So what it was the amp hours. And the amp hours, you know, if you do all the math like we talked about earlier, 12, 12, 16, active target, live scanner, live wells, power poles, all those things running, you start doing the math on how much amperage they use per hour each, add that up, divided by 100, you can find, you know, how fast that 100 amp hour battery would only last you. So that's why I went to the 200 amp like that. And like I said, I've had no problems, because it's still going to give the power for the trolling motor, but it's just going to also give a little boost for this battery to keep it going throughout the term of day. And like I said, taking weight out of the boat, peace of mind of being able to add, you know, if these were all AGM batteries, I mean, that would be, you know, 225 pounds of batteries over there, another 75 pound here, another 75 pound here. It'd be 500 pounds by the time it's said and done. So, like I said, just wanted to show my battery setup. So lastly, I bought these chins. Chins. Cheap batteries, man. They were on Amazon. 100 amp hour. My buddy talked to me about them, and he didn't have any issue with them. So I bought them. I was in the, you know, actually one of them batteries over there was a little bit weaker, but you know, so I was in the market for some batteries. Wanted to get lithiums, but they were just so expensive. These ones weren't that bad. I think they're actually even on sale a little bit cheaper now than when I got these ones. So they're a real good bargain. But like I said, I have had zero issues out of these. They charge fine on the Minn Kota charger, as you can see. No problems. All lights are green down there. Let me see. There it is. All 4 lights are green. Charging easy. Keeps the AGMs going. And this is my other charger here, the NOCO. So that's my charging setup. Like I said, it's worked fine for me. So if you got any questions or anything about the, you know, battery setup, you know, comment below. Let me know what your battery setups look like. If you're thinking about doing some lithium batteries, you know, if your batteries are fine, then I would keep what I have. When your batteries start running low on you or whatever, and you're getting ready to replace them, I'd make the move to lithium. And Chins is they're a cheaper version, but you know, they're affordable. You're going to pay $300 and something for an X2 power. So if you get a lithium, hey, it's just that much better. But let me know what you think. If you like the video, like, subscribe, share it with somebody who's thinking about changing their batteries up. But me and my buddy talked about this, and you know, it's a great way to get that longevity out of your boat, especially during the tournament days. You know, we had a guy in our last tournament just last Saturday talked about his batteries died at 12:30. You know, you pay all that money for an entry fee, and now your battery, you can't even fish the event. That's crazy. So, you know, take my advice, invest in the battery, invest in the battery system, know what your capacities are, and understand your wire gauge size. That's huge. All right. So until next time, we'll do another video on something else. Peace. Chris Bruton, Brew Crew Fishing. Talk to you next time. Peace.